Hey guys, we're back again. Kind of dropped the ball on the video today. So, it's been freezing rain, I think. Yeah, that's frozen. So first thing, we got a load of trash loaded. Very odd. I mean, the light's a little bit green, not as green as what it shows here. So, we got this load of trash loaded, and then we headed down to the scrap yard, and them guys are closed for 2 weeks, so that kind of flubbed it. So we came back. All that wasted a few hours. See if I can find the light. There we go. Now it's a light. So yeah, I mean, I just dropped the ball at every turn. I was looking to make a video today. So we got this pulled in here, and I saw the hose clamp holding the carburetor like to the engine, the little intake boot. I put a big old hose clamp on there. I don't think I have anything to show. Nope, nothing in there. So I had the big old hose clamp. I had it cranked right down, but I saw it sitting kind of low in the one area. So I undid the clamp, and there was actually a cut about that long. So I got some shoe goo in the house, and that was all dried up and nasty, but I kind of smeared it. I pulled the crack down and smeared it in there and tried to get it all nice. So the other thing is, there's the boot holding joining the airbox and the carburetor. Is I had the front hose clamp cranked right down tight. One of the ones on the boot actually broke, so we replaced that with a big heavy duty one. And I had both of those cranked right down. When I came back the day or two ago, one of the last times I used it, I noticed that both clamps were loose. So very frustrating. So what I have done though is this time I didn't go quite as tight. I made sure the skinny clamps on the carburetor side, because the carburetor doesn't have a lot of purchase on the hose, on the rubber. It's not a hose, it's a boot. It's basically kind of a section of hose almost, even though it's got steps inside. On the outside it just looks like a pipe union, but on the inside, the one side's got some steps and things. There's kind of a flare on the box side. So having that narrow clamping on the narrow lip on the carburetor, make sure that the clamp isn't, it's clamping down on something. The other one wanted to slide off. It just wouldn't stay. I couldn't tell really what was up. I think it was actually slipping off the carburetor and just clamping in onto thin air. And then it of course come loose. So now we got the skinny one on the skinny side, get the fat one on the fat side. And then I did this. I found a bolt for that. So I'm basically using zip ties to draw the airbox up onto the carburetor. Because these carburetors have, here, I'll show you the original one. They have they're one of the stupidest designs you could even come up with. So this is your throttle side. It's down. There it is. So this is your actual throttle. The throttle's your engine. This over here. Oops, we're upside down. Is a slider. And then up here there's a diaphragm and a spring. And if you blow in the slot with an air hose, it'll actually pop itself open. So I don't know why you need both. Why do you need both? But so I'm like, hey, I'm done. I'm so done. Here's the original carb. I clean it, wouldn't work. There's a Chinese carburetor I just put in the mail this morning. That one's going back. That's a return. This is a high quality max speeding rods Chinese carb, and that one actually wasn't working right because the airbox popped off. So, and the filter in here is really, it's disgusting. I haven't remembered to order one yet. That's the problem. So every time it's like, well, too late. It's probably on a sale. And then if I order a batch of parts, I'll get it yet. I think I will. It's very frustrating to have the thing so dirty and nasty, and the hose is froze, and I can't do anything unless I take it to the neighbors. I just came back from getting milk, and they have the hose in the milk house. It's not froze, so that would be very cool. And it might sell. I have some good pictures of it. So what I did. So the intake boot on the carburetor has a step in it to basically port match the carburetor throat. So when it goes on the four-wheeler, it's got just this much of a step, and then it reduces down to the inside diameter of here. So the crack is basically here at the front edge. So I'm like, hey, I got an idea. I'll shoe glue it, and then I'll put a bead of silicone around the edge here. That way the carb goes in, seals on that, or that'll help seal it until I can order a new one. And they're $100 for some reason. It's very frustrating. If it works well like this, it might get sold like this. I just don't really prefer to do it that way. I can get it for $97 used, and the same people also have the boot. The boot doesn't have to be sealed, so I went and put duct tape sideways and long ways. So crosswise and long ways. That way when like when the airbox pulls back, if you put tape around the diameter, once the airbox pulls away, it'll just rip. So you got to go crosswise and then around the other way. So it should be waterproof, actually. It should be waterproof, and the zip ties will actually force the box onto the carburetor. So all of that should be pretty good. I was so frustrated. I was ready to put the hose clamp behind the boot and use the hose clamp to force the boot onto the carburetor. Or what you could have done is get a narrow strip of rubber, like a radiator hose, and then use that to shove everything forward. And with a little bit of silicone, that would have worked well. This has been pretty waterproof. I had it in the river, in the creek. I had water up top of the tires, part ways up my boots. So this one did good. This guy here, this has been the third transmission oil change. The first one, it was just plain filthy oil. And then I got it in the water and changed it. And then Christmas Day, we went out and got it in the water and drowned it. So, there's this little thing that looks like a roll pin. It's right above the dipstick. Oh yeah, here's the oil. Oh, it's just creamy. It's nasty. So I got my headlamp right here. Get this guy unplugged, and then I'll show you where it is. I think that's the breather. See the yellow hose? It looks like somebody tapped a roll pin in just above the dipstick. So I got that. I had that piece of fuel line, and that runs all the way up by the air intake. there's actually a cavity right about here. And the airbox cover, it has an elephant's trunk on it, and then it comes up into this area. So that breather just so reached up into there. So I put a couple zip ties around it to kind of stabilize it there. And that should be pretty cool. That should work. So hopefully, that engine's waterproof. We haven't had any water in that. I love ripping it in the creek. I just don't enjoy doing the oil changes. Not only that, I got a 5-gallon bucket of gear oil. There we go. Oh, it's green now. No way. How nice. So there's some more drama here. Let's discuss. So, oh, come on. So let's show you this. Here's a winch. I've been wanting to make a video. I made a steel drum, and I reused the core from the old drum that's got the gear. There's a short gear that engages the drum and the winch gear head. So when you pull this knob out, it pulls the gear over out of the planetary side. So I just reuse the center core, like an apple core, and then there's 8 set screws driven into the aluminum core. So we got to see if that'll work. We might have to go back and plasma cut and try and mess around and make a keyway or something. But first we test it. And right up there's a hook. I want to hang this Honda from the ceiling. Then I'll be fairly well satisfied. So, but the reason we're not doing that is because the Honda key is keychained to the remote that runs the winch, and my son lost it. And it's somewhere right here. Jay and Dwayne just got back from having a ride on this. And Dwayne decided that he is the keeper of the keys, so he stuck them in his pocket, and then they were out here and went inside. So the keys got to be somewhere. And then Mom washed his jackets, and they disappeared. We cannot find them. So I can't use a winch. The only other thing there is to do, possibly, is wire up a double pole, double throw switch. You could feasibly put it in the box there. I'm not even sure what to do. The other option is I've got wireless remotes on my truck, on the truck winch. So I might be able to just take the receiver box out of here and then wire in a new one and then have new remotes. But they're really cheesy. They're trash. The ones I got off eBay for 20 bucks. They'd be a pain to keep around. So anyway, they wanted to go for a ride this afternoon. So we searched high and low. We found out that this Polaris key from that yonder Polaris right there actually fits. Oh yeah, I can turn it on. So I saw a thing on the TikTok version of YouTube of a guy taking 2 keys and then with a hole, kind of like this, and then just bolt them together and paint it, and then when it's dry, take the other key off. So I'm like, hey, one of the kids brought me a galvanized piece of hardware kind of thing, little corner thing to screw two bias together. So I cut out a piece. Actually, I drew around this key with a marker, and then I took the tin snips and cut it out. It was at the very edge limit of what the tin snips will do. It's probably as thin as, a little thicker than one side. So anyway, I chopped out a approximation, clamped it on with the vice grip. Well, this key's got a rubber cover, so that's mislaid somewhere too now. I can't find it. Hopefully we will find it. So I put it on my key ring. Well, he can have this, but I kind of ground it out with a bench grinder, kind of got it down to the same shape and size, and then went over into the shop vise and got my little tiny files and got it very close. Very close. I almost thought it would fit, but it seemed like it was jamming, so these are little flat edges. I went and got the Dremel and ground those down. And then I did like the guy in the TikTok did and use a wheel to get a little bit better copy transfer of that. And here it is. A homemade key. It's got to be in the right direction. Works better than the real key. Oh, is that even a thing? So I should have videoed that. I missed that. The other day we got the brakes rebuilt, got new shoes. I was gonna do the handle, and then I got done and I pulled the handle. Hey, that works. So what we should do is, I think we're a little bit slack, so we need to go in there and get probably run the adjusters out some. So that's pretty good. I have some things for the back brakes. Basically where the dust cover seals on the brake drum. I have one that should work. I just need to machine it down so the seal fits over. I got a seal, but it's the wrong seal. And the seals that come up on eBay are the wrong ones. So anyway, we got some things done. Got a load of scrap loaded. This girl here's got fresh gear oil and a breather. This girl runs, just don't have the winch functional. So we got this stuck in the creek and then just kind of pushed it with this. Well, one time we ended up just two guys on the rack and moving it. Yeah, that doesn't weigh a lot, which is cool. So this, I got the boots and stuff on there. Gave it a little bit of a heat with a blowtorch, and I was actually going to take this out, go down on the muck, ride around some, but I'm going to let it dry. I'll let the silicone and the shoe goo dry, and I think she'll do well. I had it fired up and it ran great. I can't do it now because the key switch is back in the plastic. So yeah, I'll probably just slap it together. It's a pain in the rear end, but it only takes a couple minutes. So if that actually works, this four-wheeler should be ready to rip. Because when I put that carb in, it fired right up, cranked a minute and fired right up, half a minute, fired right up and ran. Needed a little bit to warm up, but now that we got the boot fixed and we got the box on here. Oh, I was going to mention, sorry, I dropped the phone. I was going to mention, 19 minutes already. How does this even work? Just talking. Just talk all day if you let him. So I'm at the end of my rope now with messing. Not now, because it seems like it wants to work. But yesterday, earlier today, at the end of my rope, I'm like, if this doesn't work, we're going to slap a McCuney carb on here. We'll be done. It'll be fixed. We don't need two throttle slides and things and all that junk. So I was looking at these. I'm like, hey, I noticed this carb is for bigger than 366s. Well, 425 is pretty close. This runs like a top. I don't know if you've heard this run. Anyway, we just came home from... we just came back from the farm with it. So here, you got to hear it run. This thing's awesome. So I'm like, yeah, I'll use a carburetor from 425. It'll be simple. It's a Polaris, right? And lo and behold, the carb's the same design. Oh, I love it. Sounds great. So same design carburetor, probably the same thing. It's even got a little fuel pump thing on the side that's not hooked up. So I'm like, well, hey, that's not going to work, but this thing runs great. It just runs like a diesel. It just runs fine. It fires up. Before it wouldn't fire up, so this choke handle here has actually got holes for 2 choke cables, and the one was cracked. So I just took it apart and moved the thing over in the other slot. Bingo. Carburetor works. I mean, the choke works. Now, even on the coldest days, you just flip the flipper all the way over. Boom, she's running. She doesn't like running like that, but she'll start right up and go to one click, let her warm up. Pretty soon she's off. Just runs like that. Summer, winter, just loving life, man. But that just wanted to be a heel. So I was on YouTube. I'd punch this in. I'd punch that in. I was just kind of flipping through the videos after lunch or whatever, listening to all the guys and the stories, and they're like, oh, the one guy's like, oh, I just put the air box back on, the cover back on, or I changed the filter and it just runs great. And he's like, I'm like, what? How? He's like, oh, I got a lot of hours on it. Just runs great. So he got on it, fires right up. So I'm like, I bet if I took care of that crack and those cracks and the crappy old air filter, it might run just fine. Maybe I should just start and fix all the things that are obvious. I'm just not used to a carburetor that needs a vacuum on it for it to work. That's so odd. So there it is. I guess we'll take it out tomorrow, and I want to remember to get video of it running. So hopefully I'll remember. It's just kind of hard with everyone here, and they're talking, and they need things, and they need this and that. So, oh, this has got a DG can. That's why it sounds so nice. Now that I've heard the DG can, I used to have a Trail Boss 252 stroke, and it just sounded like trash. Now I want one with a DG can. That could sound really, really good. But no, I'm not really a Polaris guy. I'm more of a Honda guy. But hey, if you can bag a 252 stroke for, I don't know, they go beat up for $600, $12,000. They're not that expensive. And this one here is 4-wheel drive, 4-stroke, and it's super capable. Super, super capable. And the push button 4-wheel drive seems to work fantastic. So, alrighty guys, that's 23 minutes of chitter chatter. Thanks for coming along for the ride. We need to get on it. We need to go out and have a ride along the river, along the creek. I don't know. It's a creek. It drains 800 acres. No, actually, it's got a pretty big watershed. It drains the whole town of Potter and up beyond almost. It drains all the way up until the Middlesex Hill. So not actually the town of Middlesex, but up until the town of Middlesex. So it's pretty amazing. You've seen, I think I made a video of the water, the high water and wind and the blowing dirt. It's an awesome place to be. Far away from anyone and so forth, but yeah, fantastic. So tomorrow I think we'll get this Arctic Cat wrapped up. I'm going to try to get the tripod in action and get some of that on video. I think we're done hauling firewood for now. We might haul some in here to split by hand, and that'll be Honda work, I think. So right now it's freezing cold and rain, and it'll be fun to get up in the morning and see what's new. Alrighty guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Take care and have a nice night.